Why has no one here become Christian yet? If you lived here, you would understand. And this is often the response we want to say to people who inquire about why, after 5 years in Meishan, Taiwan, has no one become a Christian yet. It can be a touchy subject to broach, but we try to be honest with people to help them understand. In response, we often ask people to think about their own context. How do you share the gospel with your non-Christian friends? Do you drop little bits here and there, or do you bring up Jesus every time you have a conversation with them? Or do you pray for opportunities to talk about deeper things of faith so that this topic of faith can come up more naturally? Or do you demonstrate the love of Christ through your daily actions? People often assume that missionaries are sharing the gospel directly with every person every chance we get. Most of us are not. Why, you ask? Well, if you lived here, you would understand. Context is important. There are a couple things about our context that are helpful to know. First things is we are in a small rural town here in Taiwan called Meishan, and Meishan is a very close-knit community. People know people, and families have lived here for a couple of generations. So it takes time to build trust to get into the community here. Southern hospitality is wonderful here, but just because people are nice to us, that doesn't mean that they trust us and will be willing to share things of a personal nature with us. So we could share the gospel right off the bat, and people will nod and say, okay, just to be polite because we are foreigners and they don't want to be rude to us. But if we truly want to know them and hear their heart issues, and if we want to be able to share openly about our own struggles and how knowing Jesus gives us hope, well, that takes time. And it requires a willingness to give the conversation and relationship that time to develop. Secondly, in small towns, it's easy to find others presenting different sets of beliefs. Some people even talk about Jesus too. So how can Meishan people tell us apart? It takes time for people to see that we are different, and for them to ask us how we are different, and for people to know that the Jesus that we talk about is different from the Jesus that they might often be hearing about. These things are not excuses. This is what we've learned by living here in Meishan, asking careful questions, and slowly understanding our context and the people who live here. Of course, we wish we were able to share the gospel more quickly, but we've seen how that might not be the most effective approach here in Meishan. So when people ask us whether it's discouraging to be doing ministry here that is just so seemingly slow, we don't see it that way, because every little bit of progress is an encouragement for us. We notice progress in our conversations, and as people begin to trust us more and more, we can see that God is at work here and in their hearts because they're asking us questions. We hope that it inspires you in your own context to continue being a wonderful witness for Christ among your non-Christian friends and community, and not to be discouraged when it seems to be taking so long for people to get to know Jesus.